So, as the world around us gets more and more chaotic with time, at least in what seems like our perception, whether it actually is or not is up for debate because there are multiple factors that could be affecting our perception of the amount of chaos around us. However, the matter of fact is that there are always people complaining about how just chaotic and unpredictable things are getting in the world and how time seems to just be speeding up and how impossible it is to organize anything nowadays. And with the trend that I have seen arise over the past multiple years in YouTube videos where people share their organizational routines, where people share their systems and ways of life and recommend to other people what is the better way to exist, as somebody who considers themselves a professional of chaos, at least that is what the general consensus from other people seems to be, I thought I would have my input on the subject, especially because I have been living a pretty free, otherwise known as chaotic lifestyle for most of my life. So somehow, having managed to keep myself disciplined and achieving literally every single goal that I have set so far and thought about and dreamt up, yeah, I thought I would share what I have come to. So here are my 8 rules for maximizing your potential while also thriving in absolute chaos, whatever your circumstances may be. Oh, and for those who don't know me, hi there, my name is Maria. It's so lovely to see you here, my darling humanoids, androids, reptiloids, asteroids, or whatever way you like to identify yourself. Welcome to Life Spirals. So, rule number 1, always have a vision. How do I apply that? At the beginning of the year, or whenever you're watching this, set a precise vision in all aspects of your life for the end of the year. So, what is meant by aspects of life? So, you can go back to watch my video about holistic lifestyle, but essentially, the aspects of life that you should set a vision for are obviously your physical health, your mental health, your personal life, your social life, your work, your education, your environment, and to be honest, any other ones that you can come up with. But I personally usually set visions for those particular 7 ones. So, when you're setting a vision, one of the most important things is to not get attached to the outcome, but remain hopeful, is essentially the approach that I would recommend. So, when you're setting a vision, whatever tools you like to use, whether it's writing, whether it's making a collage, whatever will help you actually visualize like how do you see yourself in every single aspect of life at point B, whatever that might be, whether that is the end of the year, the end of the month, or the end of a 5 year period, whatever you decide on. Like, how do you see yourself and the world around you being? And when you're either writing or expressing that vision in some way, always consider the sensations and the internal feelings that you're actually looking for. And preferably write those down as well. Like, what are the actual inner feelings that you're expecting, that outcome that you're envisioning to provide for you? Because that is actually one of the core parts of the whole thing. And now from part 2 onwards, we will get to the part of actually scheduling, setting tasks, and so on and so forth. So how to actually get to the vision that we have just spoken about. And before I get to them, I just want to preface with when you're starting a new habit or a new task, or just start doing something that is new to you, that is not already a part of your discipline and routine, always start small. Don't go too overly ambitious right away because otherwise, trust me, it is so easy to burn out, to exhaust yourself, or to start getting annoyed at yourself. As if you begin with doing a lot of something and progressing really, really fast in that thing, over time, your progression will likely level out. And if you started out really, really strong, that leveling out will just feel like a drop to you and will become extremely demotivating. So, what you want to do instead is always start small. Start with just like 5 minutes of something, start with just like doing the bare minimum of that thing that you're doing, and then gradually increasing that, because through this gradual increase, you're less likely to actually hit a plateau or a dip in your development. So now to rule number 2. Decide on your base non-negotiables. So what do I mean by base non-negotiables? Those are your daily or weekly or monthly practices that are related in particular to your health and well-being. So by the base, I mean like your basic level of sustenance, of health, and of just like generally being able to exist. Not quite survival level, like slightly above survival level, but still. And so in those areas, set your habits and daily or weekly tasks that have to be done at whatever cost. Like they become your absolute number one priorities, and you have to do them every single time that you have set them for. And it doesn't matter what is happening around you, where you are, those are the tasks that you will be doing daily or weekly anyway. Set on the time that you have set them for. Or maybe not on the time, but at least once a day, just at any time of the day, you absolutely must do them. So to give you an example, for me, one of those things is meditation, reading a book, doing daily yoga, and going to the gym every 2 or 3 days. So those are things that I always, absolutely at all times do and have been doing for about 3 years now. And after those base maintenance non-negotiables, rule number 3 is to decide on your progressive non-negotiables. And those are tasks that are actually geared towards your progression towards the visions that you have set. So whereas the previous ones are just things that you have to do anyway, independent of whatever vision you have, they just are things that you decided to dedicate yourself to and to almost define yourself by. This next part are the things that are actually geared and aimed at achieving your vision. So when you have actually set the vision, now you have to go back to it and decide for yourself what are the actual practical steps that you have to take to achieve that. Like, where do you have to go to? Where do you have to get to? Where do you have to move? Who do you have to end up speaking to? What do you have to create? And then break all of those even further down into smaller tasks and habits that you also make a part of your daily or weekly routine, and that you absolutely must execute at least for 5 minutes every single day. So again, just to give you an example so that it is easier for you to understand what I mean. For me personally, those non-negotiables that are progressive are learning languages, posting on social media, listening to lectures, and speaking to somebody in a productive way. Now with the next rule, we get to the more agile territory. So with rule number 4, every month you want to keep a list of all the opportunities that you come across or any ideas that come up for you. So when you're setting your vision, most likely you were at least partially basing it on the opportunities that you are already seeing in front of you. So first, what you want to do is actually list all of the opportunities that you have currently that you see in front of yourself, and kind of mind map how they can all interlink to actually take you to that bigger vision that you have. And then absolutely every single time that you see a new opportunity or new idea arise for you, you want to go back to that original list or original mind map and try to see whether it fits in or doesn't fit in to the bigger picture. Or even if it doesn't fit in, is there some way that you could delegate it to somebody or offer it to somebody else to do if it is not necessary for you to be the one to actually fulfill? I hope that makes sense. And then from that list, we also get rule number 5, where out of all of those opportunities that you have actually confirmed for yourself as directly related and helpful to progressing you towards your visions, set small secondary and priority daily tasks that you can also do in order to actually fulfill those opportunities, or just like do a little bit of something with those opportunities that you have confirmed for yourself as directly progressive for you. And why I say to set them as secondary in priorities after all of the previous priorities is to essentially not get overwhelmed. But what is implied by secondary in priority is that any free time that you get outside of your normal, like standard current work routine and all of the non negotiables, any free time away from those is the time that you try to dedicate to those secondary in priority little tasks. Then, rule number 6 is something that I think you should be doing anyway, but maybe you're not, so I will put it in. Schedule all of the tasks that are not fully up to you and in your control. So anything that is once again related to your current job, your family, your friends, or world events or like social events that you get invited to. So all of those things should just be neatly scheduled, put in somewhere in like your Google Calendar or something of the sort. And then all of the non-negotiables and things like that can just be thrown around those like scheduled events that you cannot really control and cannot really choose whether you attend or don't attend. And then when it comes to the amount of control that you have, this is where rule number 7 comes in, is try to negotiate as much as you can with other people. So whether it is negotiating a boundary and communicating that you're trying to get systematic and trying to get structured, and that you would really, really appreciate if they understood why at certain times you might need like an hour or two to yourself to actually do all of the non-negotiables that you have set for yourself, or whether it is negotiating in the sense of asking other people around you and encouraging them to get more systematized and more disciplined themselves, or trying to indirectly influence them and encourage them through like helping them to get more disciplined and systematized. Whatever way you can, just like try to negotiate with other people and see how much you can actually extend the amount of control that you have over your day, your week, your month, your year. But because this is all just a big negotiation procedure, that is why we have the previous rule, rule number 6, where like if you can't actually bend other people's time schedules and you can't get other people to adjust to you, you have to adjust to them and bend your schedule around them, and instead schedule whatever the external world asks of you in as top one number priority besides your non-negotiables that you'll have to fit in either before or after those other people's tasks. I feel like I really overcomplicated that sentence, but you know what? We spiral. So the last rule, rule number 8, is when you're doing all of this scheduling and systematizing and blah, 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 I know that it sounds intense and it sounds like a lot, but this is why this rule exists. Always account for rest and leisure time. Always. Like that should almost be your, okay, not top number 1 priority, but like somewhere in between the number 1 priority and number 2 priorities in your life, is to make sure that you give yourself time to lay back and rest for a little bit. Because otherwise, if you're being too efficient, like I have actually personally gone down that path, you can burn out so easily. Like this is something that both me and also my cousin have a tendency to do, is where we get systematized to the point that, yeah, we're just so efficient and maximizing our day so much that we burn out. So I've gotten a lot better with that nowadays, because I ended up having to take out like almost half a year from like all of this hyper efficiency just to gain back my sanity. But yeah, in order to prevent you going through the experience that me and my cousin have gone through, always make sure that you schedule in some rest. But, big but here, once again, fat bunda. I'm so sorry for this joke. I can't stop making it. But when I say big but, I just have to make the joke. Like, it's just asking for it, okay? But anyway. Big however here is that yet better than just setting yourself some time to rest is to make that rest productive in some way. I know I just spoke about burnout, but just like trust me on this. When I say productive, I mean, make sure that the rest time that you're getting and the leisure activities that you're doing are in some way therapeutic to you. That is how you can make them productive. Is that yes, they don't have to contribute to your work directly at all. However, it's really, really, really good if they are a form of therapy. So whether that is them being a form of artistic self-expression, like creating art, making music, dancing, something of the sort, whether it is actually attending therapy or whether it is having therapy-esque sessions with your friends where you actually open up about your deeper feelings and try to establish a more intimate, like deeper connection with them, get to know them as people. All of those things will actually be so beyond beneficial to you, possibly even more beneficial than like all of the hyper-productive tasks that you might be doing. Then I would obviously also add here things like attending a massage, going to like Pilates or yoga, although for me, yoga is very much just like a part of my routine anyway. But it's like, if yoga to you is a form of like hobby, then yeah, yoga as well. Going to a spa, going to a park, going for a swim. There are so many things that you can do that are immensely beneficial to your mental health. So if you haven't already set those leisure activities as your priority, please make sure that you do that also. So all in all, how do you maximize your potential and thrive in chaos? It is by creating what is essentially called an agile routine, where you have tasks that range your priority, you decide on what is more prioritized for you, what is less prioritized for you, and the things that are the most in priority for you, obviously you set as must do things in your schedules. And then things that are lower in priority, just bend around whatever those prioritized tasks are. And then things that are third in priority are obviously like bending around the things that are second in your priority. So the things that you absolutely like must do that come from the external world to you as tasks, I would advise to actually schedule those in time slots, in dedicated time slots. And then your personal non-negotiables that you have decided to prioritize for your own journey of development, you can set them at strict times around those ready scheduled events. But honestly, I would advise to not do so because that is where like the chaos of life can get in the way. Because there's a saying that when we make plans, God laughs. So yeah, I would keep them without a strict time frame, but just have them as to-dos for every single day that you must execute, at least at some point in your day. And just for a personal example, once again, just to make this make sense a bit more, what I do, right, is that I have my main daily tasks and weekly tasks set on my Google Calendar, where I have actual time slots for some things, and then I just set more tasks below the set time slots. And then just like as I go through the day, whenever I get some free time, I make sure to just complete the tasks one by one or whatever I feel like doing in the moment. And then I use an app called Todoist, which is a separate application from Google Calendar for all of the tasks that are related to my creative work and that are related to just like my general work and career progression and aspirations. So all of the tasks that I do in my free time, I keep them in Todoist, and all of the tasks that are non-negotiable, I keep in my Google Calendar. And so yeah, whenever all of the tasks from Google Calendar have been ticked off, or I'm just like getting a bit of time where I can't really do the things that I have on the Google Calendar, but I can do something from my Todoist, yeah, I go and I look on Todoist and just like try to do something that I can from there. And yeah, that is that. I think those are all of the core elements that have actually been keeping me somehow going extremely productively for the past, actually more than 3 years now. I think I said 3 years at the start of the video. It's actually been like 6 years now. But yeah, it's just like I've been on and off for the first 3 years of doing this. But now for the past 3 years, yeah, it has definitely become my really, really progressive way of being the best Capricorn ascendant that I can be. So I really hope that you took some notes and that you try this approach for yourself and that you find it helpful. Because honestly, like, I have watched some other people's scheduling and like systems for like optimizing their lifestyle, and personally I just don't find that their methods are agile enough for, once again, the kind of creative and chaotic lifestyle that me and a lot of people I know are living. So yeah, this is the methodology that I propose that seems to be working quite well thus far. So yeah, once again, you're welcome. Oh, like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I think you know to do them anyway, but just apparently I'm supposed to remind you as if you're dumb. But don't worry, I don't think you're dumb. I think that you have realized that you need to click like and comment something. But just because those are the rules of YouTube, I would really appreciate it if you like this video, commented, and subscribed if you still haven't, because I will keep adding more and more information on how to really optimize and make the most of this life that you can. So yeah, enjoy the journey and enjoy your day and be productive, but not too much. Make sure you rest as well, but rest productively. And yeah, can you tell that I'm a Capricorn ascendant? Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.